Students, parents, members of the school community, and other guests.
We are glad to see you all at the 6th annual presentation of MYP personal projects at Skolkovo International Gymnasium,
where students of the 9th grades will present the results of their work.
Among our guests today are the members of the expert council. Please welcome
Vladimir Matsnev, student of 11th A grade, who had created one of the brightest stats in 2021. Kate Tkachova, student of 10th A grade, who had one of the brightest personal projects, The Drummers, social video about school stereotypes in case of musical clip. Valeria Zhurinskaya, head of the department in the psychological support service and high school psychologist. Moshen Alosov, IBDP biology teacher. Ekaterina Sidova, arts teacher. For our presentation to be effective and successful, let us announce the performance rules.
As you know, the presentations will be held in English. Each speaker will have 7 minutes for their glorious presentation and 3 minutes to answer the question.
Questions, both in English and Russian, can be asked not only by the jury, but also by anyone from the audience. Before we invite the students to the stage, we kindly ask you to switch your mobile devices to silent mode. Please respect each other and do not leave the assembly hall during the presentation. We wish all participants good luck and objective assessment.
Now we are ready to begin our session.
What is reflection? One man once said that this is a consequence of thinking about your own feelings, analyzing your own actions, and their reasons by talking to yourself. Reflection helps us to learn from our own mistakes, learn about ourselves. Thinking about our past, we can understand our unconscious reasons for our actions and correct them. For example, find the cause we cherish.
Reflection is one of the key skills in the IB learning profile. Today we will choose the most reflective student.
Culture is all about impression and reflection. Reflection is about society. And Taisia Mishenko will tell us about social response in art. Please, welcome to the stage.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're okay today. So I'm going to present my personal project. It's called Splash of Arts. My supervisor is Anna Spenderishvili. My learning goal. My learning goal is to raise awareness of understanding basics in the world's art sphere, to be more specific world cultural legacy, and broaden horizons on my cultural aspects and aspects of Skolkovo students in order to see how people can find emotional response in art itself. Furthermore, I want to share my passion with the students. My personal interests. To begin with, I would like to tell you a story when I fell in love with the art sphere. I was about 7 years old. My brother and I were going to an art academy, They were permanent and temporary exhibitions on different themes. I remember the moment when I first got inspired to paint on paper. I was watching the exhibitions with great curiosity because it was something completely new and unknown to me. Product goal. I would like to create a project that helps to bring the focus on the importance of understanding art and connection between psychological health and art itself. Also, I want to focus on the historical context and specifically on three art spheres: music, literature, and visual arts. I decided to create a Telegram channel. The program of this channel includes world's best artists, world's history, greatest paintings and talents, architecture, literature, and music. But first of all, I conducted an online survey of art questions. As a result, I evaluated how well the students know the basics of art and how many of them are interested in this sphere. When considering my success criteria, I tried reviewing already existing Telegram channels and Instagram accounts, covering the topic of world cultural legacy and visual arts, together the key ideas that led to success of the channel. I did small research on every channel by conducting and I realized all advantages and disadvantages. My Telegram channel includes valuable, must-read, interesting information about my spheres. In my project, I would like to pay more attention to the data and information which I'm broadcasting to the target audience. I have to combine all information into one text and along with that, make my own system of material presentation. The next one, customer satisfaction. I must know if my customers are satisfied with the provided material, number of posts and interactions, aesthetics, like all the design and color palette, and function. Interactive remembering difficult information, for example, dates of art era and names of great paintings. On this slide, you can see my plan to achieve the product goal. There are these details. And this one. The next one is the ATL skills that were applied to help achieve my learning goal. While doing my research, I was developing my research skills, information literacy. I can demonstrate information literacy by finding, interpreting, judging, and creating information. On this slide, you can see me at the Hermitage in St. Petersburg. On the left, you can see the lecturer. And on the right, you can see the Hermitage Museum. I wanted to say that I made an anonymous online survey which gave the results of the students of understanding of the world cultural legacy. What's more, I was observing information during attending art exhibitions. One of them is multimedia exhibition in art play. Moreover, it was very important to write posts effectively in a simple language in order to my target audience was able to understand the whole information. On this slide, you can see my posts, myths about era of Renaissance, literature posts, historical context, music posts, and top 5 the most famous masterpieces of era of Renaissance. The ATL skills that were applied to help achieve my learning goal. Thinking skills, creative thinking skills. I used brainstorming and visual diagrams to generate new ideas about Renaissance era. These examples on the next slide are evidence of brainstorming techniques I've used in process of defining a clear and global context. My evidence. Challenges I faced. First of all, time pressure. The next one is reliability of primary and secondary sources, and being realistic. I can divide the whole process of my product into 4 distinctive parts. The first step didn't take me long to fulfill. I created a Telegram channel. However, to pick and adjust the image which will fully reflect the purpose and content of the channel was somewhat lengthy. In the picture below, there are just 3 of the options I was choosing from, while there were many more. On the previous slide, you can see. As a result, I decided on their central image, as I realized that one of the main aims of project is communication through which the students would not only learn something new about art, but also will develop mutual and self-understanding. This is my final product. You can scan the QR code and view some information about that. What did I learn since I started the personal project? Inspiration comes suddenly, be more realistic, but don't forget to dream, and all the borders are only in your head. What am I most proud of achieving through the personal project? Achieving the learning goal and the product goal, self-development, and developing my soft and hard skills. What would I do differently? I would focus more on historical contexts and connections between psychological health and art itself. Also, I would pay more attention to the deadlines and self-management. How has my project changed me as a learner? I was developing as knowledgeable and balanced person. It's the most important thing. And words of gratitude. On this slide, you can see all these people I want to thank. Thank you very much, Anna Spenderashvili, my supervisor, Anna Pirmikova, personal project coordinator, and the other people on this slide. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask in Russian or in English. It doesn't really matter.
Hi again. You said that you already have a Telegram channel, right?
Yeah.
So you said you mentioned something about customer satisfaction, right? How you are collecting this kind of data? How you know if your customers are satisfied?
Can you repeat the question?
How do you know that your customers on your Telegram channel are satisfied? What's your method of collecting the feedback?
What is the message?
Method.
To be a reflective person, first of all.
No. How you are collecting data about your customers, if they are satisfied or not?
I did some online service in the Telegram channel itself, and I analyzed the data, and then I reflected to myself what could be done in a different way. Advantages and disadvantages, yeah.
Taisia, I have a question. You said that you would pay more attention to connection between psychology and arts, and what about it now? What did you, found out about it, or you didn't even start to work on this part?
Actually, my main topic was era of Renaissance. It's very hard to cover all the masterpieces, all paintings, and etc. I was hoping to cover this topic you mentioned in the Impressionism, like Van Gogh, Claude Monet, and etc. Because era of Renaissance is a very difficult topic, especially if we talk about psychological health and emotional response, but with era of Renaissance, everything starts. So I decided to start with this era, yeah.
Katya, I would like to come back to the previous question about customer satisfaction. You mentioned that one of the criteria of success of your project is a customer satisfaction. How did you check that customers are satisfied of your channel? Are there any methods? What are the ways? Have you done any surveys or something like that?
As I mentioned before, I did some online surveys in Telegram channel. Moreover, I wrote to my English teacher, history teacher, and the lecturers, Svetlana Chazova. I asked them to give me feedback about my Telegram channel, and it was very meaningful for me because I realized all the disadvantages of my product. Yeah. 82 followers.
Are you planning to continue your work after like this personal project stuff?
To be honest, I'm planning to organize an art club next year. I was hoping that Studsavet will help me and in achieving my learning goal. I was hoping to hold offline classes at the gymnasium, and Telegram channel will be developing, of course.
Sorry, did you set a goal how many subscribers will appear in your channel? Did you set a goal? Of subscribers? Sorry.
So right now I have 82 followers.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that at least 50 people will be enough, but I achieved the goal on 100%, and I'm really happy with it. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Okay, yeah.
Что происходит? Thanks, Taisia. It was really well prepared. Now, when we prepare for our exams, we reflect a lot on what we did and how we did it. Nastya Saprikina has prepared a guide for English exams.
Dear participants, please try to keep the timing. You have 7 minutes for your presentation and 3 minutes to ask the questions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anastasia Saprikina, and the topic of my personal project is language proficiency exams, analytical research, and student guide. And my supervisor was Anna Spendrashvili. When first starting our projects, we had to set a learning goal that we would want to achieve by doing the project. Mine had 2 parts. The first one was to study different kinds of language proficiency exams and to develop my investigative skills. The topic I chose for my personal project is directly related to the sphere of my interests. I've decided to study language proficiency exams as I'm very passionate about learning languages in general. At one point in my life, I was learning 4 languages simultaneously. However, the main reason I chose language proficiency exams to study is because I'm planning on going to study abroad after school, and in order to go to the university, you have to take an exam. So I thought it would be not only interesting, but also very helpful for me to learn this topic in the framework of my personal project. As I said earlier, studying different kinds of language proficiency exams would be helpful to me since I'll be taking one next year. But I also wanted my project to be helpful to others. So the project goal I set for myself was to create a student guide comparing a number of language proficiency exams, their purposes, formats, and scope of relevant knowledge. Product success criteria. In order to create a successful product that meets my expectations well, I had to set success criteria. So when I write my guide, I can go back to the criteria and reflect on my product. I chose well-structured information, well-sorted content, simple language, design of the pages, and authenticity of the information. I thought that these 5 criteria are the ones that a good guide should be based on. Then we had to plan our work. And there were a variety of different methods of how we can plan, but I chose a table because I can add as many columns as I want to include details, and it would still look organized. So my table included the deadline dates, the task, a small to-do list of what actually I needed to do in order to complete the task, the criteria the task we're referring to, and the progress notes so I can track my progress. As achieving my goal included conduction of a research, I was able to develop my investigative skills through creating a research plan. Actually, I was studying different techniques of evaluation of the sources, and I used one of it to differentiate the sources that I used, the CRAB technique. You can read the abbreviations on the slide. Moving on to the ATL skills that I developed during the process of creation of my product. When creating my product, I was able to develop organization skills as I learned how to plan short and long term and how to meet my deadlines. For that, I've created a small plan which included the deadline date, task, and time required to complete the task. I also learned how to use appropriate strategies for organizing complex information as I collected many during my research, and I needed to find an effective way to make use of it. That was actually a really big investment in my future projects, as I now can plan strategies effectively in order to achieve the goals I set for myself. I was also able to develop effective skills since I practiced dealing with net expectations and disappointment during the process of creation of my product. And while developing my ATL skills, I faced several challenges, of course. The first and the most common one is time pressure and the deadlines. I'm a person who doesn't really like planning long-term, but since this project is mostly about setting a small tasks for yourself in order to achieve a bigger goal, I had to learn how to plan effectively. Another challenge I faced was the availability of the sources I used in Russia. And by that I mean that some of the sources or the websites I used to gather information about the exams weren't available in our country. To be more specific, the official website of the PTE exam. So me and my supervisor had to find ways to overcome these difficulties. And the last, but definitely not the least, as I spent most time working on it, is the need to organize the information in a way that would be effective to use it after the actual research. And I've tried searching for different methods of organizing complex information, but all of them seem to be difficult both in organizing the information and using it afterwards. So I've created my own, which was in fact shown in the previous slide. I am finally happy to present to you my product. It's a student guide on 3 main language proficiency exams, IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE, types, formats, structure, how many points you can score for each of the parts, how's the score being calculated, how can you prepare for the exam, which university is accepted, and much more you can find in my guide. Just scan the QR code and scroll to page 46. If there are any students who are planning on studying abroad, I would highly recommend you scan the QR code and read the guide. It doesn't take too much time, but I think it would definitely be helpful to you. Since I started working on my project, I learned a lot. But here's 4 insights that I learned throughout the working process that stuck with me. It's never too late to start. Inspiration comes during the working process. There's countless amounts of synonyms to any word. And thought thrives in conflict. Of course, I can suggest to you all the boring stuff like starting to work on your project as early as possible, trying to get things done in time, and overall follow set deadlines both set by yourself and your supervisor or personal project coordinator, and just taking time to plan your step. But even though we all know that, as sad as it is, most of us don't actually follow these tips. So my advice would be to choose wisely the topic of your personal project. Ideally, it should correspond with your interests, as if you're passionate about the topic you're working on, you're more likely to be motivated to work on the project in general. And believe me, the motivation is needed here. Another important thing is supervisor. Honestly, I would recommend choosing a person you feel comfortable to text or call at 3 a.m. when an amazing idea hits your head and you just want to share it with someone. Because otherwise, the working process can get quite overwhelming and the communication can bring discomfort to it. I am most proud of making my way through this personal project, and even though facing so many challenges and difficulties, still being able to achieve my goal and make the product. Of course, my project isn't perfect, so is any project. But looking back, the only thing I would do differently is take more time to work on my product. I mean, I like the way it turned out to be, but it didn't really meet all of my expectations. This project has definitely made a huge impact on me, since during the working process, I grew both as a learner and as a person. I think that personal project teaches you how to organize your work effectively, how to communicate and receive feedback, and overall how to manage working on some kind of big projects. At first, I was afraid of starting a project this big, as we had more than a half year to work on it. But the more I worked, the more I started to realize how helpful can this project be, since it develops almost every trait of an IB learner. I would want to say a huge thank you to the people mentioned on the slide. They helped me a lot during this project. Thanks for your attention. If you have any questions, you can ask me, preferably in Russian. Yes, I have. It's the QR code, it's for the Triton magazine. Okay, so I'll talk now in Russian. Я бы хотела позвать на сцену Тасю, чтобы мы вместе поблагодарили двух людей, без которых не были бы сделаны наши проекты, отчеты не были бы загружены, библиографии не были бы также написаны, и проекты, в принципе, не были бы реализованы. Это наш супервайзер, у нас Тася, он общий, Анна Сергеевна Спандарашвили, и координатор персональных проектов Анна Андреевна Пермякова.
Хочу сказать огромное спасибо моему супервайзеру за то, что вложили в нас с Настей огромный труд и просто большое количество времени. Спасибо вам большое за наставничество. Это был просто незабываемый экспириенс. Спасибо.
Great job, Nastya. As you know, reflection of global economy and history is essential, as history is periodical. And Alexander Nidbalsky will tell us about the influence of TNK on economic development.
Спасибо. Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Nidbalsky, and today I would like to tell you about my project. The main purpose of my work is to analyze the impact of the largest multinational companies on countries and improve my thinking skills. Это третий слайд? По идее, да. I have always enjoyed reading the news or watching videos about the economy and politics of different countries and companies. As a rule, the information is related to economic or production indicators of a particular company. I became interested in how large companies carry out economic activities around the world. Because of my great love for watching news videos and channels, I decided to make a similar product. It will be presented on video in the YouTube channel. Since there is a lot of text, I will try to tell you briefly. The main criteria was evaluating the product are video duration. My video clip should last from 3 to 5 minutes. Consider the current trends in the creation of short videos. The number of views and likes, where the number of likes from 500 to 1,000 is an excellent result, and the number of views from 5,000 to 10,000 is a good result. The number of sources that I use to select information. For me, this number is from 8 to 10, an excellent result. Visual accompaniment, the number of images or excerpts from the video. I think there should be visual accompaniment in the all parts of fragments of the video. Plan to achieve the product goal. In October is the beginning of the search for information to create a future video. November, the beginning of the creation as well as improvements of the prepared material. Creating the entire video in December. January for product placement on social networks and its promotion in February. I bring the product in the perfect condition. In order for me to be able to analyze the impact of largest multinational companies on the global economy, I must have research skills. Collecting information for this, I must consider various points of views from various sources in order to take a comprehensive look at the problem. I will learn to do this through the analyzing of articles, sources of information. In order for me to make a successful video, I have to use my thinking skills. For this, I need to collect only the information that is relevant to the problem. I will learn to do this through the creation of a script. The main difficulties in creating my project were the lack of time, as it is difficult combined in studies, difficult in self-organization and lack of sources which contain the necessary information. As my product, I made a video on YouTube. In the video, I briefly and informatively explained the topic using a prepared script. The video lasts for several minutes. Upon completion of my project, I can say that I have learned to find sources of information and carefully evaluate them. Thanks to the project, I was able not to only acquire important skills, but also to learn a lot of interesting things about TNCAS and as well as the self-discipline myself. As a piece of advice, I can give a few suggestions. You need to properly organize your time so that the project can be combined with study and personal time. It's very important to check the information and sources. And of course, the main thing is not to be lazy. In my project, I'm proud of that sometimes I passed the criteria on time and had the opportunity to improve it. I'm also proud that my product was appreciated by internet users and was able to give their comments. Thanks to the product, I was able to learn how to organize myself, set goals, and achieve them. Find and check information sources. At the end of my speech, I would like to thank my supervisor, Knyazeva Anna Sergeyevna, my parents, and of course, my beloved one. Thanks for your attention. Да, поскольку дальше я на английском не написал, попрошу вопросы задавать на русском.
У меня опять... О, микрофон. Такой вопрос. Может, я прослушала или нет, но ты сделал одно такое видео, или ты планируешь делать несколько и развивать вообще свой канал?
Я сделал только одно видео.
А планируешь развивать, делать больше, или это такая одноразовая акция?
Нет.
Понятно.
Планируешь ли ты как-то продвигать свой продукт внутри гимназии?
Нет.
А у меня вопрос. Какие-то выводы можешь кратко, вот что ты рассказывал в фильме о влиянии вот этих вот компаний на экономику?
Ну, в целом, вообще на этот вопрос можно широко ответить. И
Можно узко, если
узко. Ну, в
получится.
целом я рассказывал, как, в принципе, вот транснациональные компании основываются в разных странах и производят там экономические действия. Вот. Но если вам, в принципе, интересно, то можно обсудить.
А сколько длится?
От 5 минут.
Окей, хорошо.
Саш, скажи, пожалуйста, а какая была learning goal у тебя? Можешь повторить?
Да, я сказал вроде. Но основная цель моей работы — это проанализировать влияние вот транснациональных компаний на страны.
А можно кратко, вот вывод, просто кратко. Ты проанализировал, что ты, вот,
Кратко?
чтобы мы здесь не такие близкие к этой теме, могли понимать, да, какой вывод?
Ну, в общем, если в целом сказать, то как бы и для транснациональных компаний есть плюсы и минусы, и для стран есть плюсы и минусы. Ну, я говорю, тема просто широкая. Если вам интересно, то я могу вам лично рассказать.
Один плюс можешь назвать?
Для кого?
Для нашей страны.
Ну, производство товаров.
Хорошо. Спасибо.
Все.
Так, я пытаюсь на русском спросить.
Спасибо большое.
А кто будет искать твое видео? Кто? Один.
Хороший вопрос. Ну, я его просто выложил. Если кому-то будет интересно, я думаю, найдут, если надо. На Ютубе. Все, я думаю, вопросов нет. Спасибо.
Thanks, Alexander. Let's change the topic for a comic book. Diana Khachaturian has made a comics about Mayakovsky's childhood. Welcome, Diana, with her presentation.
My name is Diana Khachaturian. My supervisor is Yekaterina Georg, and my product is comic book about Mayakovsky's child. My theme is show the current young generation that great poets and writers were the same teenagers and children as we are. I choose this topic because I think that in this way I can bring the author closer to readers. My goal is develop in drawing graphic stories. I am interested in developing in drawing. I believe that there is no limited perfection in drawing, and you can learn it to draw endlessly. The purpose of my project is present a story about the childhood of literature figure through the format that will be interesting both of young readers and older people. I took the childhood about literature figure Vladimir Mayakovsky as the main topic because I have been studying his literature and biography for a long time. The atmosphere, my product success criteria, the atmosphere will accurately convey and all emotions and memories of the writer, the time when he was growing up. Everything will be historical accurate. People will become interested in this topic, and my project will be chance to be published. To study in detail and able to integrate a real history well into more literary one. My first plan with deadline was lost. I'm sorry. This one is shorter and clear. The first, study of historical records. Second, analyze. Third, write a script. 4, outline page. 5, painting. 6, drawing a contour. 7, cover design. And 8 is published, printing. IELTS skills. Information literacy skills. The first, correct and systematize relevant information in order to correctly formulate advance and arguments. Analyzing the new information, received and applying it in practice. Media literacy skills. Verify and generalize conclusions, considering ideas from different points of view. Practice non-standard strategies and method of thinking. I have encountered such problems as lost motivation due to disinformation, the difficulty of combining with study, and burnout. Unfortunately, my project is not completed due to the loss of motivation to work on it because I don't know how to get started and how to take notes currently. It's very sad for me because I was preparing for this project for a year. What I have learned? Realized the level in the drawing and sketching. I learned a lot of new information about Mayakovsky. I learned to take risk. I learned also to admit my weaknesses. I would like to thank Ekaterina Georg, Yelena Andreevna, and my parents because these people helped me to not lose hope and continue my project. That's all. Thank you for your attention. Можете задавать вопросы на русском, пожалуйста.
Диан, скажи, пожалуйста, а как тебе кажется, почему мотивация пропала и собираешься ли ты ее искать дальше, продолжать проект?
Я планирую работать над этим проектом летом. Вот, также у меня будет в учебном году в следующем больше времени, и я буду его больше развивать, поскольку у меня планируется не только Маяковский, но и другие писатели. Вот. А потеря мотивации, скорее всего, произошла из-за того, что я не понимала, как правильно вести отчеты и так далее, и впала в отчаяние.
То есть есть теория о том, что когда отчеты не надо будет вести, мотивация будет выше?
Да, скорее всего.
Угу. Хорошо, удачи тебе.
Спасибо.
Я скажу, как человек, который занимался вот этой печатью, как из журнала «Тритон». Вообще ты узнавала по поводу вот всей этой типографской бюрократии какой-то, или у тебя все застопорилось на моменте, когда еще до тут не дошло?
У меня все застопорилось. Но я уже пыталась печататься, то есть мне с этим помогали родители, вот поэтому как бы...
Удачи тебе.
Извини, а сколько примерно ты материала вообще сделала? Там есть какие-то зарисовки к этому?
Зарисовки есть, но они слишком сумбурные, я не смогла их всех найти. Вот, то есть у меня на какой-то очень длительный период прям пропало желание над этим работать, поэтому у меня прям кусок времени был впустую и пуст.
А есть сейчас вывод о том, почему, ну вот кроме того, что без отчетов было бы удобнее, может быть, в плане именно творчества, может, с чего-то начать, чтобы тебя могло подтолкнуть гораздо быстрее к этому, может быть, там, грубо говоря, начать с конца рисовать или там начать рисовать с конечного продукта или совсем с эскиза. У тебя есть какие-то варианты решения проблемы, как можно приступить именно к созданию продукта более попроще?
Скорее всего, для начала я как бы сделаю черновой вариант, наверное, это мне больше всего поможет, потому что я буду видеть общую картину, и уже ее буду просто дорабатывать, обрабатывать. Вот. Вопросов больше нету, я так понимаю, наверное.
Спасибо.
Thanks, Diana. It was a wonderful presentation. And now moving on to biology. Evelina Vinik has prepared for us some interesting research on the influence of growth regulators on the development of the houseplant Kalanchoe. Please welcome.
Hello, my name is Vinik Evelina, and today I will be presenting my project, The Effect of Growth Regulators on the Kalanchoe plant. My supervisor was Turikova Ekaterina. My learning goal. So for my personal project learning goal, I chose to research growth regulators and their effect on the Kalanchoe plant. I'd never studied how to use growth regulators, but this topic is very interesting for me, and I want to know how to use such chemicals. Also, my goal was to develop my research skills. Personal interest. Every spring, my family grows something in our backyard. Also, I have a lot of plants in my room. Some of them died because of inappropriate care. That might be a result of incorrect use of growth regulators. And some part of my motivation emerged from an argument with my grandma, because she claimed that no chemical additives could improve plant growth. And I want to prove her wrong. And as the result of my experiment, I won the argument. As my final product, I have made an article based on the research that I had about plant growth regulators. My article will contain information about research. It also contains a table with the results of the experiment and the conclusion about which the regulators are the most effective on Kalanchoe plant. Product success criteria. I want to share results of my research with people who also enjoy care for houseplants like me, and people who also face problems that I've had with the growth regulators. Because of that, I want this article to be helpful and informative. So first criteria is article needs to be written in an easy to understand language, because I want this article to help people, not to confuse them more. Second, article must have pictures or drawings. This have made article more understandable and helped me to visualize information. And third, article must have an appropriate design. The design of article should be attractive but not stand out too much. Plan for achieving the product goal. For planning, I chose the most convenient method for me, the table. My table consisted of 5 columns. The first was deadline, the second was the task to be done, and the third was detailed description of the text. The fourth was relevant success criteria, and the last was status of completion. While I was doing my research, I made a plan that will help me not to get lost. That was media literacy skills, data organization. Help me in achieving my learning goal and understanding the difference and similarities between different growth regulators and their impact on the plant. The bottom right table is recommendation and adjustments that to improve the accuracy of my research. The top right is summary for one type of regulator, and the bottom left is questions to help me during writing my article. The major skill I have developed while while I was conducting my research was time management and organization. To make my product in time, I divided my task into 2 groups, the ones that require a huge amount of time to complete and those that can be easily done. Given the groups that I've created, I made the table with tasks, things that must be done in order to complete the task and the deadline. So the tasks that need a huge amount of time are marked green. The most difficult obstacles that were for me limited time, lack of organizational skills, and trying to make my research as accurate as possible. To overcome those obstacles, I tried to follow my plan for achieving my goal, and I use method that helps you to increase research accuracy. So this is my product. It is an article about plant growth regulators, their types, detailed instructions on how to use 3 of them. I wrote just about 3 because I made a research about 3 types.
one inhibitor and other were increasing growth. So, what did I learn? Organization skills are very important. Time management is a skill that must be used during work on personal project because there are a lot of tasks that must be done. And some things are better viewed from different angles, such as article design, because I made a survey about my previous design of article, and it showed that it was inappropriate. My advice: try to organize your work as much as you can, because the amount of what needs to be done can be overwhelming. Because in this year, you're not just doing a personal project, but you need to prepare for OG exams. Don't put all tasks to a flow, or try to divide tasks into smaller ones, and they will be easier for you to done. In some situations, it is much better to ask someone for different opinion, especially like design. I think I must be thankful that I chose the topic that was interesting for me, and not just interesting, but I have 2-in-1. I won the argument, and I'm very proud that I made it in time, because the amount of work was really huge. My project changed me as a learner. During work on my personal project, I had lack of organization skills, but in the second part of working process, it was much easier for me to do my tasks. The second changed me as a person. I feel much better about dealing with pressure now. And third, now I want to learn through practice rather than just knowing the fact, because it is much interesting to know things through research. Sincere thanks to my supervisor for guiding me in this project. That was my pleasure to work under your leadership. And thank you for your attention. So now you may ask questions, but preferably in Russian.
Эвелин, скажи, слышно меня, да? Да. Скажи, пожалуйста, ты сама довольна тем результатом, который получился у тебя?
Отчасти да, потому что я изучила их влияние, но в будущем, если будет больше времени и больше времени в основном, я бы хотела провести исследование с большим количеством, потому что используя только 3 регулятора не даст тебе особо точных результатов.
А ты изучала только регуляторы роста, то есть что влияет на рост растений?
Да, один из них был ингибитором, то есть замедлял рост, 2 других было на увеличение общего количества листов и роста растения, а другое было на ускоренное цветение и увеличивание количества бутонов.
Поняла, спасибо большое.
Can you please tell me if you have any control samples? How many samples do you have?
I had 1 control sample.
Only 1?
Yeah.
And about the plant that you used, have you made any background check on it? What kind of, for example, from where is this plant? Is it like naturally grow in Russia? Grows in Russia?
No, I chose Kalanchoy because I had some problems in growing it in my room, and many people love Kalanchoy for its beautiful leaves and flowers, and dealing with the problems like Kalanchoy doesn't bloom the second time, for example.
Yeah, but maybe the issue, for example, while we were talking about samples here, maybe the issue was with the ground that you use for this plant, not because you need some kind of regulators.
Can you repeat your question one more time, please?
I'm just talking about samples here, control samples. Maybe the issue with for example, Russian, why? I mean, we need regulators here. Why do you think we need regulators?
Why I had 1 control sample?
No, why this plant? Почему это растение не растет в России? Или в вашей комнате? Зачем? У тебя есть какие-то...
Зачем контрольный образец?
Прошу прощения.
Вопрос в том, может быть, есть какие-то причины, почему каланхоэ не росло, ну, то есть другие, может быть, там не обязательно нужно было использовать регуляторы?
Я следила за тем, что он рос в правильных условиях, то есть окна выходили на правильную сторону света, то есть на север. Он не получал слишком много света или слишком мало, не слишком, ну, и количество воды было для него оптимальным. Я прям за этим следила, это было в прошлом году.
И Мохсен спрашивает, откуда это растение, то есть оно где вообще произрастает, ну вот, в естественной среде?
Ну, каланхоэ, его много разных видов, и некоторые из них произрастают на каменистых почвах, которые не богаты полезными веществами, но конкретно это вроде бы в тропиках, насколько я помню, потому что ему не подходит такая почва, как всякие камни, ему нужна плодородная.
Thanks, it was really good. Cerebral palsy is a horrible disease. Svetlana Shebakova will tell us about people who have to live with this disease.
Hi everyone, my name is Sveta Sherbakova and today I want to present my personal project. My supervisor is Nina Raisovna Mulaeva. Key research and learning goal. I was always very upset by the attitude of others towards people with cerebral palsy. Most people know about Down syndrome and help them, but little is known about cerebral palsy, which is why I wanted to help them. My personal interest. I have a similar diagnosis and I often face depression in society. Most often this is due to ignorance of the problem. In my dad's medical center, I am treated together with people with cerebral palsy. Therefore, I wanted to highlight this topic in society. My product, I make an educational video that highlights the problems of people with cerebral palsy as a way to change people's opinion. Product such criteria, usefulness, how to be usefulness for everybody, duration of the video, installation, quality, and disclosure of the topic. Plan to achieve the product. First, I make student survey. Then I started scripting video. Then I search for the heroes of the plot. After that, I edit my video and preview video for everybody. Detailed skills that were applied to help achieve my learning goal is communication skills, because I communicate with a lot of people. Research skills, information literacy skills, because I needed to find a lot of information, and media literacy skills also. Challenges that I faced while developing these skills and how it influenced me. I needed to communication with a lot of new people, and I have bad time management, and I needed to study programs for editing. My product is information video telling about diagnosis of cerebral palsy, living with diagnosis, and helping people with cerebral palsy. And you can scan the QR code and watch the video. It's about 15 minutes. And also I present the video for my classmates and also school volunteers. And to presentation, I invited Aleftina, girl with cerebral palsy, to the presentation of the video. And Aleftina is working as facing teacher for people with cerebral palsy and studying to be a translator. And after my presentation, Students gave feedback saying that their opinion changed after the meeting. What did I learn since I started the personal project? I studied cerebral palsy in more detail and knew more about this diagnosis. I learned how to create Google polls to have feedback from everybody, and I learned how to make videos. What advice I would give to someone starting the personal project? It's choose topic that interests you, complete all works in time, and bring the board to the mirror. What I'm most proud of achieving through the personal project, meeting new interesting people like Aleftina and another people who was in my video, and I'm proud that I filmed the video and met all the such criteria. What would I do differently if I started again? I would spend more time learning how to create videos. How has my project changed me as a learner? I became more independent and produced. Thank you very much to my supervisor, Nina Raisovna Mulaeva, and everyone who helped me in creating this video. Thank you for your attention. Можно, пожалуйста, вопросы желательно на русском задавать?
Здравствуйте. Извините, а почему у вас закрыто видео для просмотра без ссылки, если вы хотите для большого числа зрителей, наверное, это видео? Нет?
QR-код не открывается.
Нет, он открывается, но просто он по ссылке только открывается, то есть его, мне кажется...
Да, он открывается по ссылке, потому что это видео не для общего пользования, потому что не все хотели делиться своей историей и рассказывать, потому что это личная история, поэтому попросили сделать не для общего доступа. Вот. То есть...
Так, хорошо, подумаем.
То есть задача, получается, показать его в гимназии, да?
Да, среди студентов, среди школы.
Свет, скажи, у тебя одним из пунктов было student survey.
Да, я провела в начале опрос перед тем, как создавать видеоролик. Узнала, как ученики относятся к этому заболеванию. Вот. И после этого начала уже делать видео, и в конце тоже провела опрос, как изменилось их...
То есть, правильно я понимаю, survey было про это заболевание?
Да.
А как этот survey тебе помог in realizing your project? Какую-то информацию ты же получила из survey? Возможно, как-то перестраивала свой проект.
Да. Я вначале думала, что мало кто знает об этом заболевании, и, в принципе, что они плохо относятся к таким людям, но проведя опрос, я, конечно, понимаю, что там не все отвечали честно, но большинство мнений было положительно, вот. И поэтому я поняла, что мне стоит больше рассказать именно с медицинской точки зрения про этот диагноз в видеоролике. И поделиться жизненным опытом людей.
Сколько человек приняли в survey?
Там, получается, 4 человека.
Возраст участников какой был?
Там медработник, который работает с людьми с ДЦП. Потом сама девочка с ДЦП, Камила, с ее мамой. И также работник фонда «Голчонок», который работает с людьми с церебральным параличем.
Спасибо.
Все. Спасибо.
One more question. Do you have any idea about maybe percentage or how many people do we have here in the school with this disease?
Can you repeat, please?
Есть ли у тебя информация, сколько процентов в нашей гимназии людей страдают этим заболеванием?
Нет такой информации. Все. Спасибо.
Thank you, Svetlana, for your performance. You know that artificial organs are one of the breakthroughs of modernity. And Platon Mishenko decided to dig into this topic and will tell us about chemical materials for creating artificial organs. Please welcome.
Dear judges, esteemed guests, and fellow students, my name is Platon Mishchenko, and today I stand towards you to present my personal project, a culmination of months of hard work and dedication. As I present my ideas and findings, I hope to convey not only the depth of my research, but also the passion that drives me to pursue this project. Personal projects are an opportunity to explore one's interests and showcase individuality, and I'm honored to share mine with you today. So without further ado, let us delve into the world of my personal project and discover the possibilities it holds. For my personal project, I had chosen a topic related to medicine based on my long-standing interest in it. At that time, I had attended a lecture of anatomy where the lecturer shared a story about the shortage of organ donors. This had inspired me to conduct research which revealed that the number of living kidney donors was significantly low in the comparison of the number of people it need for a transplant. This realization had led me to set the goal of exploring chemical materials for creating artificial organs as an alternative to real organ transplantation. When I was developing my personal project, I understood that creating a successful product required not only technical skills, but also a component description of its success criteria. So for myself, I identified several important criteria for success, namely function, accessibility, scamper technique, safety, appearance, and effectiveness. I understood that creating a successful product required a well-thought-out implementation plan. Therefore, I created a detailed plan to estimate the amount of work and resources needed, identify the key stage of the project, and set the goals and deadlines for each stage. I developed a strategy to identify the key project milestones and set goals and deadlines for each milestone, and created a table with key events and deadlines to visualize the entire workflows. This allowed me to allocate responsibilities and resources, organize my workflow, and also avoid procrastination and delays. ATL skill, information literacy skills, research. To achieve my goal of exploring chemical materials for creating artificial organs, I had planned to conduct extensive research of various materials used in artificial organ development. This research included studying their properties and limitations. Additionally, I had planned to investigate different methods of printing and modeling these materials to create function and durable artificial organs. Through this research, I had hoped to identify the most suitable material for my project. To complete my research, I also experimented with different 3D printing techniques and materials to model the artificial organ prototype. This involved designing and testing different shapes and sizes using computer-aided design software CAD to ensure the precise and accurate representation of the artificial organ. I also had to consider the mechanical and chemical properties of the chosen material to ensure that it would function well as an artificial organ. During this process, I encountered some challenges, such as finding the optimal printing parameters that identifying suitable post-processing techniques to refine the final product. However, with persistence and experimentation, I was able to produce a functional prototype that met the requirements of my project. Finally, I presented my research finding at the 3D printed artificial organ model to my peers and mentors. This involved developing a clear and concise presentation using effective communication skills to convey the key finding and outcomes of my research. I also answered questions and provided additional information on my research methodology, data analysis, and conclusions. Overall, the experience has allowed me to develop the refined important ATL skills such as information literacy, critical thinking, and communication, which will undoubtedly benefit me in my future endeavors. Using the CREP method, I evaluated the sources based on criteria such as currency, relevancy, authority, accuracy, and purpose. This helped me to me to identify high-quality sources of information for my research and to avoid sources that were inaccurate, biased, or outdated. I also engaged with the scientific community by attending conferences and networking with experts in this field to stay updated on new developments and get feedback of my research. Additionally, I used a variety of research software tools such as molecular modeling software and citation management tools to facilitate my research process and organize my findings. By utilizing a combination of information sources, analytical methods, and software tools, I was able to conduct a thorough and comprehensive investigation of the topic for artificial organs. In the end of my research provided valuable insights into the chemical materials used in the development of artificial organs and helped me to create a successful final product. I prepared a foundation for developing an artificial organ by creating a model of selecting appropriate materials. Networking with experts at the Skolkovo Institute of Science and Technology, analyzing data and revising my understanding based on new information allowed me to make informed decisions about material choice. After a thorough analysis with colleagues, we decided to use 3D printing with inorganic materials to develop the product. 3 materials were suggested: ISUM-Flex, TPE-Flex, and SEPS, which I evaluated based on strength and wear resistance, biocompatibility, and flexibility. After a series of experiments, we choose ISUM-Flex as our material. Many people are probably wondering now, Platon, now it's a half through the show and you haven't shown or told us about your organ. Maybe you didn't make it all. Sure I did. Here it is. Anna Andreevna, would you help me, please? My product, artificial skin based on my thumb. It's also important to note that this model contains inside itself an artificial bone, which gives it strength. So why did I choose leather? Firstly, artificial leather has a similar texture and appearance to natural leather, which makes it an attractive option for many users. Additionally, it is cost-effective and sustainable alternative to genuine leather, which aligns with my mission of creating affordable and eco-friendly artificial organs. Moreover, artificial leather has been shown to have good mechanical properties such as high tensile strength and abrasion resistance, which are important factors in the development of an artificial organ. It also has good biocompatibility, meaning it is less likely to cause adverse reactions when implanted in the body. Finally, artificial leather is easy to work with and can be customized to meet the specific needs of different organs. In conclusion, I am very proud of my work I have done on this project. I believe that my research on chemical materials for creating artificial organs has the potential to contribute significantly to the field of biomaterials and the creation of new technologies and treatments for organ transplants. I'm grateful for the opportunities and experience that this project has provided me with, and I'm excited to see where my interests and skills in this area will make me in the future. I hope that my work will inspire others to make an interest in the field of biomaterials and contribute to the development of new technologies and treatments that will improve the lives of millions of people around the world. I would also like to express my boundless gratitude to Oleg Dubinin, Katerina Vilinsky-Mazur, Dmitry Kolominsky, Igor Shishkovsky, and Anton Dmitrich Frykin. Without them, I won't have made it. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But if there are no objections, I would answer this question in Russian for completeness. Thank you very much.
Can you hear me? You said, I was, first of all, you start by talking about kidneys, so I was thinking about something else. How do you think the study of medicine will help you in this? Maybe it's more of technology, right? Like, how can, I mean, I don't know, what you're going to study in the future? Are you going to mid school?
Basically, this data from Aerodot site is a database from all donors around the world. And there were there were information that only 18 people from 1 million have donor kidneys. But when over than 5 millions all around the world need this. So I use this information to show why this so why I use and decided to present this project.
Платон, кем ты хочешь быть, куда ты дальше собираешься учиться? Собираешься ли ты развивать это направление?
Хороший вопрос. Мы с коллегами из Скаутеха уже обсуждали это, даже предлагали какие-то уже гранты на довольно серьезные суммы, чтобы развивать этот проект. В дальнейшем я планирую, конечно, развивать то, что я начал. Безусловно, мы уже договорились с коллегами, что мы будем встречаться, скорее всего, этим летом уже. И, возможно, я продолжу вот данную тему как проект для 10 класса и тоже продемонстрирую, возможно, вам какие-то мои наработки новые.
Okay, Platon. What other artificial organs are you planning to create? So now we see only finger. Are there any ideas?
Вообще-то орган кожа, палец это просто модель. Вообще мы планировали в наших мечтах абстрактных изначально сделать на биопринтере, получается, щитовидную железу, как у мыши. Но из-за того, что были довольно сжатые сроки и, соответственно, нужно было как-то уложиться, мы решили использовать 3D-принтинг из эластомеров. Так что, возможно, в будущем я и займусь этим, и, скорее всего, я этим займусь. Но пока что имеем, что имеем.
Okay, thank you.
Как ты думаешь, не слышно, да? Так. Как ты думаешь, возможно ли твои наработки применить где-то в области протезирования?
Да, конечно. Мои коллеги заметили то, что я довольно серьезно продвинулся в этой теме. Я использовал вот конкретно в пальцах, вы каждую модель потрогали, наверное, вы заметили, что они немного разные. Соответственно, использовалась разная плотность этих материалов. Это довольно революционная вещь, поскольку до этого ничего такого подобного не делалось. В данном самом лучшем варианте используется 30% плотность, что позволяет быть довольно вот самому материалу Isumflex, который довольно жесткий, быть эластичным. Соответственно, сами коллеги отметили, что, скорее всего, это будет применяться, скорее всего, будет это применяться в области, получается, медицины в плане того, что студенты смогут делать 3D-модель той же руки или там пальца и проводить на них операции, тренировки перед операциями, потому что там можно учитывать все нюансы человеческого органа. Соответственно, я знаю случаи, когда престарелая там 90-летняя бабушка сломала себе руку, соответственно, не могли никак сделать, понять, как правильно нужно ее, соответственно, лечить. Сделали 3D-модель по такому же принципу, как и я, со всеми костями, посмотрели изучили ее, сделали пару надрезов, и благодаря этому смогли спроектировать дальнейшее развитие самой операции, потому что она была довольно сложной, но сама модель позволила просчитать какие-то нюансы. То есть, в принципе, моя работа может быть использована и в этом ключе.
Интересно. Спасибо.
Can you please tell me, this is made of what? One more time.
Isumflex, эластомер.
And you just used this substance. You didn't make any.
Я вот как говорил.
Have you done any changes to this substance or just used it?
Как я и говорил, я использовал 30% плотность материала и использовал еще материал тоже эластомер в виде кости, который повысил саму прочность всей модели. Поэтому я использовал уже готовые материалы, но при помощи моих познаний и коллег я смог объединить их свойства, и поэтому вот я считаю, что это такая маленькая революция. Спасибо большое.
Thanks, Platon, for a wonderful presentation. As a person who is really fond of chemistry, I'm glad to announce Sasha's project. Alexander Verpeitsev will talk on a very serious theme, application for determining the class of chemical substance.
Yep. Hello, anybody. Today I want to talk about my personal project, and before I start, I have got two attentions. Firstly, I have got some Russian language pictures because I add some memes into presentation about programming and about informatics, and memes in not academic meaning. And second attention, I have got this about my product, the chemistry web application. In the end of the March, I do some tests and I broke it. I was broke it. I was breaked. Yeah. Okay. And before I start, I want to tell you my not one but two stories of my life. First story is when I was 7 years old. I like to moderate and to not moderate but modeling something like helicopters and something like engineering. I want to understand what is it and how it's work. And now, not now, but in MYP 7 class. Not MYP, yeah. And my P4 class, I got a little bit problem with chemistry because I don't know how it's work. I don't understand. And after many lessons of extra chemistry classes, I start to understand. And I want to help people who don't know about chemistry, who want to introduce in this team, but don't know how. I want to help them with my application. And my learning goal is understand how web applications, how programming work. Because in school we got like a basis programming. We haven't got objects-oriented programming and other extra things what used in real programming and real informatic professions. And my interest is I want to understand modern technologies. And my product, if you want, you can scan it, but this is GitHub. GitHub, this is place when you can see what code I have got and you can download this code. You haven't see like the site because now it's broke. Yeah, break. Yeah, and you can see only some files, and if you download it, you can see what in these files. Yeah. And my product success criteria. I want to make like web application which can make calculation of ionic equations on base level, not like make something really strong and really high-level things, but on the basics. Output and information about the substance, what is the substance, this is salt or not, and other basic things. And calculation of existence of the substance. We have got, this is what mean, that we have got the substance in real life, or we can't have got it. And product goal is help MYP4 students to understand the chemistry. And ITL skills, what I used in this project. Firstly, it's thinking, because I combine my knowledge and hard skills. I combined Python and understanding of chemistry. And for me, this is really hard because you need to understand all chemistry teams from MYP4 and some teams from MYP5 year of education. And research skills, because we haven't got on informatic lessons like something really good, really not good, but most useful stuff for, not stuff, but things for programming. I need to Google it. I need to Google and take some solutions from the internet because in internet we can find all things. And challenges on my way. I've got many challenges. I have got challenges from the school, like algebra tests, tests. And from my social life and my usual life, like I need to take some more exams, not from school, but from other education organization or from anything else. And what I learned from this project, I learned that most of all, you need to know how your web application work, and after this, you know how you can do and how you fix some problem. And now you can see that I meet with problem that I don't understand how I can fix some problems in my application. This is now you can't see it and you can't use it. Yeah. And what advice I can give for future people who make some personal projects? Firstly, I want to say that you need to make your project all time what you have got. Because I haven't got enough time to fix all my bugs in the application. But if I use all my like 20 minutes on the breaks or use my all hours when I go to sleep, I think I can end this application and fix all my bugs in this application too. And how this project changed me? I think this project made me more responsibility because now I understand what it means that you are not ready with your application yet. And I start trusting any other people because I understand that I can't do it all in my own. I can't do all web application. I can't do like Surface part and part who work with the servers. I can't do it my own. I'm not full stack programmist now. I'm only the student. And was graduated for people who help me, who build some tables for me. First of all, this is Alexey Semyshkin, our informatic teacher, who start to educate me with Yandex, let's say, and start to educate me with object-oriented programming. Second, this is Maxim Dolgih. This is a student from 11th grade, or MYP year 7, I think. He made me he made some announcement for me, like, hey, Sash, you can go to this conference and to speak about your program. And first of all, Matsnev Vladimir, he sent me some study books about programming. Yeah, and this is all about my presentation. Have you got any question about it?
So as I understood, the aim is to help students understand chemistry.
First of all, yes, this programming solve chemical equation, but there is a right understand of this equation, like what you need to do to solve it. It understand for MYP for student how it's happened. Yeah, and in bright future, I want to make some extra thing to the teachers. I want to include, ChatGPT to my application and made some extra thing that's name is make chemical task for a teacher. This like you need to enter the team what you want to make a task, and after like for 3 seconds, my web application give you a full task with like some extra description and other thing. Yep, and about ChatGPT, I told on IB conference about ChatGPT part of my web application. Yeah, question?
Yes, Sasha, tell us maybe more in details about your web application. What kinds of information can students get?
What information can students get? I got 3 functions. What you want to talk about? I can list. Oh, Alexey, can you bring again presentation? Sorry. I have got 3 functions. This is the make a chemical not to make, but solve chemical equations, prove the reality of, or prove the reality of substance and information. Yeah, here. What you want to talk? This is three points in the presentation. Calculation of ionic equations or not? What do you want to talk?
No, in general,
in general.
wondering what kind of information can
What
students
kind of
get,
information?
tasks or maybe
Tasks?
theory on different questions.
Sorry, I don't talk about it. I didn't talk. First of all, it's show some theory, like when you not a bind but write about calculation of ionic equations, like you bind like chloride natri blue plus I think сернистая кислота in Russian. I don't remember how it's in English. You can see in the web application what what do, and students can see it, can see what happened, see logic of this equation and how it's solved, and yeah, let's see some theory and some answers. Yeah. Any other question? Sorry, we take extra time. Yeah. Ask.
В своем проекте, я буду на русском, ты когда рассказывал, ты говорил, что ты столкнулся с трудностями помимо проекта, то есть там с внешними экзаменами, с другими обстоятельствами, но интересно было бы узнать, с какими трудностями ты столкнулся именно касаясь самого проекта.
About my project, I have got like challenging when I want to understand how modern applications work, because what we write on the Python now on the lessons, this is not real programming. This is like on children's level. And when I start to write it, I understand that, oh, I need to know anything else, like object-oriented programming, about how work JavaScript, how work any other things like CSS and other things, and how work database, because I need to place information about chemical elements and other things what I have. And yeah, I meet with some chemicals challenging because I don't know about all things in chemical, like that's the oxide of, how I remember, of natri are make peroxidize, not like oxidize from the first reaction.
Спасибо.
Any other question? No? From our beautiful auditorium? Yeah, take extra more time, but yeah. Can somebody give this beautiful man a microphone?
Я просто огорчаюсь, что все-таки зарегистрировалась, но все равно не открывается этот GitHub, и никаким образом не
This is GitHub. You can see only the code, not a workable application.
Yeah, I've done it, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Okay. No, it's here. Can you scan? Okay.
Thank you so much. I really like the way you expressed yourself and the way you presented. It's really good. You don't read a lot, which is really good. I wanted to give you a big thumbs up for that. Is the work you've done theoretical, something you would like to do, or something that exists, that was done?
What do you mean about done and existence here?
Meaning that, is this something that you would like to do in the future, to have it done, or something that actually exists?
About my web application, now it's in process, because I understand that I like but I do the part of this application, and you see the code if you register it on GitHub and download the files. You can see the code, but now I've got problem that I broke it. Yeah, and now that some part of this code are done, and now I need to make website part, and I need to like make some normal and more tests about my web application, because now it's broken because I do like some chemical equations, like ionic equations, and it's fall down. And now I need more tests to like fix it. Yeah.
I would just suggest in that case then to not replace, but maybe add also the process, those pictures with the formulas and everything. I think it would have been a really great addition to your
yeah,
presentation.
but I have got the pictures in my in my personal project report, all things in this. And now I would like presentation of the project. Yeah. Sorry. Any other question? Okay. Thank you for listening and good luck.
Thank you, Alexander, for a wonderful presentation. And Katya, what do you think is the best place to reflect?
It's a chill zone, isn't it?
Do we have one, by the way?
Anya is going to tell us where we can find such zone.
Please, Anna Sirtsova. She will tell us about creation of a chill zone for students of the gymnasium.
Hello everyone, my name is Sirtsova Anna and I would like to present you my personal project which is called At School Like at Home, and my supervisor was Lepik Elena Vladimirovna. When I went to middle school I have heard... When I went to middle school, I have heard the phrase school is a second home many times, so I asked myself, why can we call it like that if we can't relax in it because of a lot of work? Last summer I decided to take this issue more seriously and came to the conclusion that every person needs to rest. A huge load, both emotional and physical, can lead to mental burnout and other problems. So as soon as the school year started and we were told to come up with a topic for a personal project, I thought about this issue and decided to make a chill zone. My learning goal is to learn how can I make people feel comfortable at school. How did this idea come to my mind? Last year I faced with the same problem. I loaded myself too much with studies, so I completely forgot about myself, my sleep and nutrition. How I said earlier, I decided to take this issue more seriously and came to the idea of creation a chill zone. But this is not the only reason why I decided to choose this topic. Since I was a kid, I have been interested in design. It all started with toys. I chose which furniture to put in the dollhouse and picked up colors to match. Then I switched to games where you need to make a design for different rooms. After that, I developed an interest in interior design. I read many different magazines and articles, and a couple of years ago, I even took part in my dad's project. Product success criteria. To assess the future success of my product, I divided the criteria and identified four main ones for myself. The first one is functionality. If there are people in the chill zone, I can observe their behavior. For example, one person sits and shakes his leg and biting his nails at the same time. From here, I can conclude that he is nervous and came here to relax after a stressful situation. And the second person is in a relaxed position and reads a book, so I can conclude that he just wants to reload before the next lesson. The second one is adaptability. My recreation area has the ability to adjust to a person. For example, if a person loves music and doesn't want to hear annoying sounds, then he can take headphones and relax. The other one, if he just wants to lay down and he's not particularly embarrassed by other sounds, then he can easily spend time there at a break. Also in the future, I want to add the feature of VR glasses so that on the last day before the holidays, people can come there and go anywhere in the world within the walls of gymnasium. Availability, we have a secret room in our school which also serves as a space for relaxation, but you can get there only with an agreement with a psychologist. The difference is that my zone is always available to everyone. And the last one, initially there will be a limited number of places in the zone. I will go there and see how many people are there now or ask the teachers nearby if it has been popular for several lessons in a row. If yes, then if it's possible, I will multiply the number of places every day and will be able to make statistics on the level of stress in the future. Plan for achieve the product goal. On the screen you can see my plan to achieve the product goal. Unfortunately, I can't fully achieve my goal for now, and work on the product will take place in the summer because there will be no people at the school, and my team and I will be able to purchase furniture now and get it by the summer. Also, we need to paint the walls, but it's really dangerous to make when there are a lot of people in school. And I will finish the exams and will be completely free for 2 months. Um, At the beginning of the year, we created a mirror board where we wrote skills that will help us achieve our goal in the future. Mine one was to understand what conditions need to be created so that people can relax at school. So how my ATL statements help me reaching my goal. I use collaboration skills, give and receive meaningful feedback. While working on a product, I always needed to receive and give feedback. With my supervisor, with classmates and other children from school, and also with my dad, which helped me with my ideas. Advocate for one's rights and needs. In my project, I defend the rights and needs from rest from the school curriculum. In the middle of the school day, we get very tired, and all factors from a small amount of sleep to a large number of lessons turn into an emotional explosion. Also, I use critical thinking skills, practice observing carefully in order to recognize problems. Every person with a lot of mental stress needs to have a rest. Based on my personal experience, I can confirm this. Of course, for a complete feeling of comfort, I think that a person needs to be in a relaxed position, sitting or lying on a comfortable chair, and without too much noise. That is why I decided to create a separate space for this, because it's always very noisy at school, especially on the second floor where there are a lot of sofas and children. My product. As I said earlier, my product has not been completed yet, but on the slide you can see the recreation where my future product will be located and the plan on which I wrote everything I need to implement the idea. Of course, this is just a sketch, and a little later I will have a detailed drawing where the furniture will be arranged taking into safety account rules. What did I learn since I started the personal project? Time is a valuable resource. I was not always able to correctly allocate time while working on the project, so I did not have time to bring everything to the ideal, but this made me understand that time is a valuable resource, and now every time before I start the work on something, I will plan my schedule. The influence of colors on the human's brain. I have read many different articles about the influence of colors on the brain and highlighted for myself the main ones that I will use while working on the product. And the last one is learn how to arrange furniture on the plan. My dad taught me how to plan furniture in space, so the final drawing will not give me any difficulties. What will I do differently if I start again? And advices for someone who's going to do the personal project. First one is deadlines. I already said it, and I know that it sounds kind of basic, but it really is. It seems that the half of the school year is a lot of time, but in fact, it's not. I advise you to act strictly on deadlines because both the report and the work on the product take a lot of time. Make sure that the topic of your project is interesting for you and the product is possible to make. It's more like an advice for me because I chose a topic that is really interesting for me, but I know that quite a lot of people thought about the topic for a long time and chose the one that is not in their circle of interest. There may also be a problem with the product. It seems that it's very easy to make, but in fact it's not. So I advise you to write down all the topics and questions that interest to you, select the main one, and come up with a possible product based on it. And the last one is communication. If you understand that it's difficult for you to make a criteria or a product, always contact your team. I'm sure they will help you. And words of gratitude to my supervisor, Lefik Elena Vladimirovna. She helped me a lot with all the work on the project. We discussed various ideas together. She corrected me if I was wrong somewhere. And in general, helped me to immerse myself more into the topic of design. To my dad always supports me in my ideas, so the project was no exception. He added motivation, new ideas, and knowledge to me. And also, I want to say thanks to Anna Andreevna, because she helped me with my report. And also, I want to thank my classmates who helped me with my work at some points. Thank you for your attention. I think I will use blue and orange colors because the blue one is calm. Like if you will see it in a room that is full of blue color, you will feel comfortable in this room, and if I will use the orange color, you will feel happy and comfortable too.
Are you going to use only furniture from our gymnasium, or maybe you will bring another items of furniture?
Can I answer in Russian?
Ты использовать планируешь только
Нет,
ту мебель, которая...
Я поняла вопрос, я имею в виду, я хочу ответить.
окей.
Нет, мне Елена Владимировна присылала каталог мягкой мебели. Я вставляла на слайд, где у меня на миродоске все расписано. Вот, мне присылали каталог, я могу определиться с цветами, могу определиться с самой мебелью, то есть какой диванчик хочу поставить. В общем, вот. Ну и, соответственно, если мне понадобится, то я думаю, я могу использовать и мебель школы, если вдруг она стоит там, грубо говоря, не пользуется популярностью.
Скажи, Ань, пожалуйста, а почему именно то пространство ты выбрала? According to what criteria?
В общем, я выбрала то пространство, потому что там есть большое панорамное окно, та рекреация пользуется популярностью, и моя идея в том, чтобы взять такой диван, который будет закрывать освещение, то есть чтобы эту зону действительно можно было оборудовать под зону отдыха. То есть там не будет попадать, туда не будут проникать солнечные лучи, и будет легче там заниматься, отдыхать. В общем, вот так вот.
Don't you think, I mean, are you planning to do some kind of survey or ask people about maybe someone won't agree with you, for example, about the color, about the furniture? Are you going to do something about that?
Yeah,
Collect information, for example.
I think I will do a survey for kids in our school. They will choose the colors for my zone, but how I said earlier, I think the best colors for my chill zone is blue and red. So for now, I think it will be in these colors, but if I will have time, I will do a survey for kids in our school and they will vote for colors.
Thanks, Anna. It was great. The last project for today is... Are you keeping up with us? Misha will tell us about a program that analyzes levels of students' engagement in the lesson. Will he identify the ones who are bored? Let's listen and find out. Now on the stage is Mikhail Sokolov with his project Program for Analyzing the Mood and Interest of the Audience in the Speaker's Speech.
Hello everyone. My name is Sokolov Mikhail and my supervisor is Semechkin Alexey Viktorovich. Today I want to present to you my personal project. My personal project is an algorithm with artificial intelligence technologies for analyzing the level of engagement from an audience. And let's go. My learning goal was to improve my programming, time planning abilities, and learn to create artificial intelligence and data libraries. My research question for project was to examine the creation process of artificial intelligence and find out what purpose I can serve. My personal interest. My personal interest, I have always wanted to learn to train artificial intelligence because it is very interesting, and I always wanted to bring something useful into our world. My product goal. My product goal was to create an artificial intelligence algorithm capable of determining the overall level of interest. As an example, this will help entrepreneurs to understand in advance which project will be successful in the future. My product success criteria. You can see in the slide, I can say this. My program, first, My program should help understand the emotional state and engagement from your listeners. Second, the result of assessment should come in the form of a number on scale of 1 to 10. Number 3, the accuracy of assessment should reach at least 90%. Number 4, my program should be in a convenient programming environment for it to work efficiently. Number 5, it will need to work on most computers, even on weak computers. My plan to achieve the product goal. It is a very big plan because it's not all, but I try to place most of here. I have made many plans to achieve the goals for my product, which I have followed throughout the time. The ETL skills was very applied to help achieve my learning goal. I have used critical thinking, which help on short and long-term tasks, meet deadlines, setting goals, and organizing my built-in file system. I use organization skills to evaluate my work and find problems, manage risk, and put together pieces of complex information to create something new. Difficulties I have encountered, such as lack of time, lack of experience in working with artificial intelligence, and insufficient knowledge of Python. It is very hard for me. My product. My product is a program that is trained to determine the overall level of interest of a video stream audience. As a result, the program gives out a 10-point scale of interest and a detailed table of interested persons at each moment of time. What have I learned since I started the personal project? During the process of working on my project, I have learned time management skills and to set priorities, to follow a detailed written plan, how to create artificial intelligence, and how to analyze and highlight the detail of my project. My advice to those who are just starting their project: firstly, don't postpone the project for later. Secondly, structure your plans carefully and follow it. And lastly, don't be afraid to ask for help and guidance from teachers and supervisors. What I am most proud of achieving through the personal project, it is managed to create my own artificial intelligence despite the lack of time by working hard and sticking to my plan. What would I do differently if I start again? I would read more articles about how neural networks and artificial intelligence work in order to gain more understanding in advance. How my project changed me as a student. I have gained new knowledge about artificial intelligence and improved many important skills such as time management, planning, and analyzing my work process. And last one, I would like to greatly thank my supervisor, Alexey Viktorovich Simochkin, for guiding me through the difficult process of my product creation. I couldn't have done it without his help. And thanks for your attention. In the end, if you have any question, I will be happy to answer them in Russian.
Так, давайте я начну. По какому принципу ты определяешь вовлеченность студентов и с помощью какого оборудования ты планируешь ее определять?
Я это понимаю с помощью камеры, которая направлена на учеников. И эта камера транслирует данные искусственному интеллекту, который анализирует эмоции на лицах учеников. Ну, не обязательно учеников, просто на людях. и уже на основе этого анализируют их заинтересованность. То есть, допустим, нейтральные эмоции и скука — это не заинтересован, а удивление, счастье, может, просто внимательно смотрит — это заинтересованность.
А ты как-то в этом всем анализе используешь трекинг положения глаз и куда смотрит отдельно взятый студент? Или это не влезло просто в критерии?
К сожалению, это не влезло полностью в критерии, но все равно, если он скучает и смотрит куда-то помимо преподавателя либо спикера, то все равно он не будет испытывать какого-то счастья либо удивления, поэтому это, конечно, важный критерий, но пока что я его не учитываю.
Хорошо, понятно. Спасибо.
Еще вопрос?
У меня, наверное, такой вопрос. Должен ли человек, который вовлечен, всегда испытывать счастье и удивление? Ну, то есть не может ли нейтральное выражение лица быть, ну, как бы при этом заинтересованным?
Не обязательно, поэтому у меня есть специальное разделение по заинтересованным и незаинтересованным. Допустим, если он просто нейтральный и смотрит, то это больше заинтересованный. Там входит брожено по процентам, но не буду сейчас об этом. А если не заинтересованный, то он, во-первых, лицо скучающее. Ну, то есть это видно, когда человек чем-то увлечен, а когда не увлечен. Программа это отличает, потому что, во-первых, направление и физиономия лица, можно так сказать. Ну, то есть я сделал так. Я выбрал несколько сотен фото заинтересованных лиц, именно нейтральных лица, и несколько сотен фото незаинтересованных лиц, нейтрального лица. И на основе этого моя программа понимает, когда человек заинтересован и смотрит, допустим, на говорящего и интересуется всем процессом, а когда он просто витает в облаках.
Ну вот, самоощущение людей и результаты программы вы как-то сравнивали или планируете сравнивать?
То видео, на основе которого я анализировал свою программу и тестировал, это был урок из этой гимназии. И в результате моих результатов я создал опрос среди учеников, которые были на этом уроке, как они себя ощущали, насколько им было интересно и так далее. И в целом результат совпал. Поэтому я могу уверенностью говорить, что мой код работает исправно.
А скажи, пожалуйста, а для кого эта информация будет более полезна? Вот куда ты хотел бы транслировать эту информацию?
Транслировать эту информацию, по большей части, это не в массы. Допустим, я говорил про предпринимателей, то что, допустим, существует какая-то конференция, и с помощью моей технологии можно будет направить камеру на зрителей, и когда какой-нибудь предприниматель будет разговаривать и объяснять свою тему, он сможет после своего выступления посмотреть, насколько эта тема была интересна слушателям. Возможно, он будет исправлять какие-то недочеты в своей речи, возможно, он поймет, что эта тема конкретно неинтересна слушателям, и то, что этот проект не будет реализован в будущем, не будет интересен.
Спасибо.
У меня такой нестандартный вопрос. А не вдохновились ли вы фильмом «Не смотрите наверх»? Вот, там был похожий проект у такого псевдоученого «Don't Look Up». Нет? Не смотрели?
Нет.
Ладно.
Эту идею придумал очень долго и просто совмещая свой интерес в искусственных интеллектах, программировании и психологии, потому что мне было интересно, может ли искусственный интеллект сам определять эмоции людей и так далее.
Хорошо, спасибо.
Thank you, Misha. It was really well prepared. And now the jury has a few minutes to choose the most reflective student among those who have presented their personal projects today.
Dear participants and guests, let me ask a few questions. How would you describe a reflective person? Has no one seen a reflective person?
Raise your arms. Who has an answer? Please.
It's a person who takes time to analyze his results, and that's why the product success criteria are helpful, because you have something to refer to when you're analyzing your results.
Thanks for your answer. The next question. Do you think you are reflective?
Yes, I do think that I am a reflective person. I analyze a lot of data connected to my project, and yeah.
Who is the most reflective student in our school? What
Let's
do you
ask
think?
teachers. Who is the most reflective student in our school? Natalia Ivanovna.
You mean from the presentations today, or? It's very difficult to say at the moment. I have to think about it. For me, a reflective person is a person who thinks critically, first of all. Not criticizing, but who is critical to himself or to herself, first of all. I can't say the names.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. David, what do you think? Can you describe the most reflective student?
Being reflective is about being able to do something, and even when you don't do it correctly, you can analyze what happens, and you can think about what needs to be done correctly in the future, what can you improve, and how just to move forward. For me, reflecting is moving forward, no matter what the result was.
Thank you. Dear jury, are you ready?
Now we would like to invite one of our honorable experts to the stage to announce the most reflective student of the day.
Do I need to come on the stage? Okay. So, as the youngest member of juries, I would like to say thank you to everyone who was participating in this wonderful, amazing presentation. So, I can see just a little bit of guys who were there, but I want to say that me and my colleagues would like to give this certificate of the most reflective student of 9th grade till today's presentation to Anastasia Saprikina.
Congratulations!
You did a great job. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to everyone for participating in our event, especially to our students who were brave enough to stand on the stage. Everyone, have a nice day.